Hello everyone, and thank you for staying so late with me. Okay, and I would like to share some of my recent research about medical personnel and their shift works. And I have no disclosures. So after the pandemics, we're facing a tremendous shortage of medical professionals at an all-time high. And at the same time, they're also experiencing increasing overtime duty rates around the globe. Meanwhile, WHO estimates a shortfall of 11 million health workers by 2030. Aging society is an inevitable future for most of the developed country, and the need of quality health care will only be more demanding for the future. For most medical professionals, they need to rotate shift work schedule more than ever before. We think it is crucial for us to have a deeper understanding of how our brain adapts and being affected by the frequent rotate shift work schedule if our workers need to spend more time on irregularly arranged duty. We have recruited 10 qualified medical professionals in Taipei metropolitan area and did a 3 10-point repeated measure experiment. 7 days prior to this first scan, we will provide them an actigraphy to record their sleep metrics. And as for the 3 time points, which are before their day-night shift and immediately after their consecutive 5 night shifts. And after that, we'll have an average of 4 days of rest for them. And for the 3 time points, we'll just do the resting state fMRI with our 3D machine, and the probarometer were listed below. So we observed a partial sleep deprivation during the professionals while they're taking their late-night shift. So as you can see over here, they're experiencing a partial sleep deprivation, and their total sleep time was decreased during that period. However, this was soon bounced back during their recovery period, and other sleep matrices were not interfered by the late-night shift. And in our neuroimaging analysis, we identified 3 key patterns in brain activity following night shift works. First, we noticed a significant change in the superior frontal gyrus, specifically in the ALFF, with our ALFF analysis, indicating an alteration in spontaneous brain activity. Second, we observed a connectivity shift between the diphonal network and the thalamus, suggesting an effect on intrinsic vigilance-related network. And last, we found a change in the connectivity between the dorsal attention network and the precentral gyrus, likely influencing the attention motor coordination. Our first major finding focuses on the superior frontal gyrus and how it responds after night shift work. This region is essential for the executive function and self-awareness, and we observe significantly increased ALFF value immediately following a night shift, indicating a heightened spontaneous brain activity. And we believe these kind of neurophysiological changes reflect a compensatory mechanism, as essentially the brain's effort to stay alert and maintain their cognitive performance despite the sleep deprivation. What's especially intriguing is how quickly these changes reverse. After 4 days of rest, these values return to its baseline, highlighting that these effects of sleep loss in this region are reversible with sufficient recovery time. And the recovery pattern carries meaningful implications, such as planning and appropriate resting intervals between their shifts. And given the superior frontal gyrus' central role in working memory and decision making, understanding these dynamics is particularly crucial for medical professionals who heavily rely on their sustained cognitive abilities, even under conditions of fatigue. Interesting enough, this result aligned closely with our previous research from our lab, which observed frontal hyperarousal in case of sleep stage misperception. So previously, we found that this kind of situation triggers the prefrontal hyperarousal with increased ALFF value in superior middle frontal gyrus, reflecting a CNS compensatory mechanism during sleep-wake regulation abnormalities. The increased ALFF in the frontal region after shift work may indicating the decreased sleep quality due to the discrepancy following the night shifts. Our second key finding centers on the changes in the connectivity between the different mode network and the thalamus after night shift. We have significantly reduced functional connectivity between the different mode, particularly with the posterior cingulate cortex, and the thalamus immediately after shift work. Perhaps more concerning is that this disruption itself is persistent of this alteration, unlike the change we just see for the ALFF. And this alteration didn't return to baseline even after the 4 days of rest, suggesting a more lasting impact on brain network integrity. This prolonged effect is especially notable given the critical role for the different mode network to thalamus connection in vigilance, self-awareness, and internal cognitive processes. Intriguingly, this connectivity pattern we detected is actually closely resemble the changes typically seen during the propofol anesthesia, potentially explaining why medical professionals may have sort of the brain fog experience or diminished self-awareness for days after finished night shifts. Our third key finding highlights the changes of connectivity between the dorsal attention network and the precentral gyrus following the night shift work. Specifically, we saw significantly enhanced functional connectivity between the intraparietal sulcus, which is the component of the dorsal attention network, and the precentral gyrus, which house the primary cortex. Interestingly, this increased connectivity persists beyond immediate recovery periods, suggesting also a lasting adaptation in how attention system communicate with the motor-related regions. Given that the dorsal attention network plays a crucial role in externally focused attention and goal-directed tasks, and the precentral gyrus is critical for motor planning and execution. The strengthened connectivity is likely presenting a beneficial adjustment to maintain their vigilance and motor readiness despite sleep deprivation. However, this persistence of these changes raise important questions about long-term implication. It suggests that the repeated night shift exposure might gradually lead to more permanent modification in how these brain networks interact. This finding is especially relevant for medical professionals regularly engaged in shift work, emphasizing the importance of understanding potential long-term effect on brain function. So here are some key takeaways for you guys. We found the strengthened attention to motor connectivity remain elevated even after shift rest periods, implying a long-term adaptation. While this enhanced connectivity could be beneficial in sustained vigilance during fatigue, it also raised concern about potential permanent reorganization of this network with repeated shift exposure. And the different mode network connectivity with the thalamus appears particularly susceptible to disruption, showing slower recovery and possibly explaining this kind of brain fog experience often reported by the professionals. Finally, our finding collectively underscored that the brain employs multiple adaptive strategies to cope with sleep deprivation. However, these adaptations differ significantly in how quickly they recover and their potential long-term implication, especially important consideration for those frequent engaged in shift works. I would like to shout out to my perfect lab members, especially with my supervisor, Changwei Wu, and I cannot finish this kind of work without their help. Thank you for your attention. I'm more than welcome to all kind of questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have one question for you. So psilocybin works on the DMN. What should we consider when giving it to MDD patients or shift workers with sleep loss insomnia? So any ideas on psilocybin?
That's really a good question. Like we all know, like medical professionals are sometimes struggling with their personal issues. Like, yeah, I think it's a bit difficult to answer for now, but feel free to visit my poster at 2086, I think. Yeah, and we can have a deeper discussion on this.
Thank you very much for the talk, and thank you everyone for sticking until the end of the session, and have a great rest of the conference. Thanks.